Alright, so this is the last teaching video for this section 3.2, and we're going to graph two equations on the same line, on the same graph, and then we're going to discuss how they're similar and how they are different. Notice both of these are solved for y, so I'm going to choose the same points for each one on the x's. Alright, so I'm going to take -1, 0, and 1. Okay, so on the first one, I'm just going to have -1 times 2. So that's going to be -2. 2 times 0 would be 0. 2 times 1 would be 2. Then on the second one, we're going to say, I'm just going to put this. All right, 2 times -1 plus 5. So that's -2 plus 5. That gives us a 3. 2 times 0 plus 5, so that is just 0 plus 5. That gives us a 5. 2 times 1 plus 5 would be 2 plus 5. Okay, so I'm going to graph the first one and label it. -1, -2, 0, 0, and 1, 2. All right, so let me draw this line. I kind of missed there. Kind of missed again. Not too bad. And this is the graph of y equals 2x. All right, so now let's look at the next one. We have a -1, 3, 0, 5, and 1, 7. Okay, so let's see what happens here between these two graphs. They look pretty similar. Try to bring that back. Somehow I magnified that. I do that accidentally. Okay, I got off a little bit on that one again. It's not terrible, not great. Okay. Now something I'd like you to notice, so you can see that there's some similarities here because they're basically both going in the same direction. They're kind of an equal distance apart. And if you look at these points, if you look at the negative ones, at -1 I was here at -2 on the first line, and 3, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the zeros, I'm at 0, 0, and 0, 5. Once again, there's a distance of 5 between those, and that carries out because it was plus 5. And so we're going to talk about slope maybe in the next, I'm not sure which lesson in this chapter. We're going to be talking about slope. Both of these have a slope of 2, and the distance between them is 5, and that's based on the fact that it was 2 times x plus 5 on one of them, but 2 times x plus 0, we don't really write the 0 in that equation. So they do have some similarities, but they have some differences because of the fact that one was a plus 5 and one was a plus 0. So I've got 2 more of these. Okay, so once again, they're solved for y. I'm just going to use the points. Whoops, I want that to be an x. -1, 0, and 1. I'm going to do the same thing for the second equation. -1, 0, 1. Now notice on the first one, everything that x is, y is the same. Y is equal to x. So if y, or if x is -1, y is also -1, right? So y equals -1. Y equals 0. I'm substituting for x. Y equals 1. Okay. Then on the second one, I'm going to have y equals -1 minus 7. So that's a -8. And then y equals 0 minus 7. So that's a -7. Y equals 1 minus 7. So that's -6. So I think you can see that the same thing's happening. They have the same x, right? The x is the same on both of them. That also means that they have the same slope. And they're going to be a distance of -7, right? So the second one's going to be below the first one. So let's look at these points. -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So there's one line. And then on the second equation, at -1, I'm down here at -8. Whoops, I accidentally put that one there. And then I'm at 0. At 0, I'm at -7. 1, I'm at -6. So you can see that for the second equation, it's 7 places below the other equation if you look at it point by point. And once again, they still have that thing going on where they're going in the same direction, but they're separated by a distance of 7, and the second equation is below the first equation, 7 below. And so hopefully that kind of shows you what happens depending on what kind of numbers are in the equations. The equations can move around the graph in different ways. All right, so that's the end of the lessons for section 3.2, and we'll be moving on to 3.3.